Okay. I don't know how long I'll be streaming tonight. I don't feel all that great, so we're just gonna wing it. Maybe about an hour. I'm gonna be looking at Emacs tonight. Is the plan. I have done no preparation other than installing it, so that's all there is. All right. If I can get a yay or nay on the audio, I would be appreciative. I do have an air conditioner running in the background, and that's not going away, so it's like 95 degrees here in Michigan for whatever insane reason. So the air conditioner has to stay. I do have noise cancellation on the, or noise repression, or whatever the hell it's called, in OBS going, so it should be okay. All right, good. Got some yays. I'm going to do some scene changes because last time I had some audio issues when I changed the scene. So I'm going to keep talking as I go through and change some scenes here, make sure everything's okay. I am going to be looking at Emacs, so oops, I gotta stop messing around with OBS. For whatever reason, OBS has gone through, and every time I've opened it up recently, has changed all my scenes, and I don't know why. Like the cameras are in different places and everything. It's really weird. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's been a pain in the ass. Ever since I plugged in the cam link, the Elgato cam link, it's been messing up. So, it's really weird. Anyways, yeah. So, Emacs. I don't know if there's like a list of Emacs key bindings somewhere. I need to do some Googling on that before I get started here. Now, I know there's a lot of like video tutorials uh, on Emacs, but I've not watched any of them on purpose because I kind of wanted to do this on my own, like fresh from scratch. But um, that's my plan, is just to see if I can look up something. And I got the itchiest nose in the history of noses. My grandmother used to say that meant you're gonna get money. Unfortunately, every time I have an itchy nose, I see no money. So, anyways, let's go ahead and see. So this is from the Doom Emacs GitHub repository. Some of the documentation, because it does have some really good documentation. And I know it uses Vim Emacs, Brandon, but I'd like a list because there's some key bindings there that don't have anything to do with Vim. So, like getting into the file manager and getting into the recents folder and all that stuff. I have looked at Emacs before, regular old plain Emacs, so I know some things that do exist there. I just don't remember any of the key bindings because I had it installed for all of like, I don't know, 5 minutes. So I don't really know. One thing I've noticed, so right now I'm in Qt Browser. Does anybody know why in Qt Browser the scrolling behavior is like you have to scroll 10 times to go to a line? It's the most annoying thing ever. There has to be a setting or something there that you have to change. So today I convinced my partner, but I don't need your whole life story. All right, you wanna screw this? I'm just gonna use the handle. There we go. Okay, well, I don't know what any of this stuff means. And those aren't key bindings, really. All right. We'll try again. So we got a crash course. Is this, and that's a 404 not found error, so that was useful. You can use Control D in Qt browser. Yeah, it just goes. I mean, I know I can go use the key bindings, and that goes faster. But I'm so used to in the browser using the scroll wheel. I should get used to using the key bindings. All right, so I do have Doom Emacs installed. But like I said, I've done nothing other than install it. And honestly, I don't know. So, if I remember right, space period brings up the file manager, and I'm right. So I can go to .config suckless dwm config.h def.h. Okay. And I get some errors or something. So this checks errors for. And I need to fit. All right. So Peter, why Doom Emacs? I chose Doom Emacs because it has Vim bindings, and I use Vim, so I assumed that it would be a little bit easier to actually do stuff in. So here's a good question. Okay, so that's how you make it bigger. That's good. How do you close this warning at the bottom? Okay, escaped worked. Okay, so key bindings of Vim work in here, which is good, as you'd expect. I do enjoy the syntax highlighting here, which is nice. It does look better than Vim, so if we, at least in this case, because if we look at here, well, this in Alacrity is not so bad. I've been using Kitty, and for whatever reason, Kitty does not do a very good job with the syntax highlighting. And I don't know why. But anyways. Let's go back to the documentation here and see what else we got. Getting started, which is probably where installation and stuff is. Install, configure. Okay, so let's look at the configuration stuff. It's a good place to start, I guess. Install, table of contents, blah, 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 Doom Emacs. Update and roll back. Migrate, configure. Alright. You can configure Doom by tweaking the files in your Doom directory. Doom expects this directory to be found in one of the following folders. The directory is referred to as your Doom directory. Okay. Only one of these directories should exist. Okay, cool. When you ran Doom install, it deployed a simple Doom configuration to your Doom directory. So let's go ahead. If I'm being legitimate here, I should use Emacs to look at this configuration, not Vim. So let's do that. So space period, and this should be in .emacs Doom, maybe? I'm actually not sure where it should be somewhere. Okay, well, that was useless. Don't press enter. Okay. Okay, and then this doom.d, this one here. And then here are the configuration files. So that's config.el. Okay, so we zoom in here. All right. So there's a lot of good comments here, which is nice. So Peter, you only use the vanilla one. So the vanilla one just has its own key bindings, right? That's what the difference is, because everything else is Doom is just Vim related, as far as I know. Um, like I said, I wanted to use the Doom one because of the Vim key bindings. I figured it would be easier for me to actually get it. Because if the key bindings were completely different, you know, I'd get scared away. Because I've spent the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years learning Vim, and I'm still horrible at Vim. I mean, you watch some of the YouTubers who are really good at Vim and are like, oh, do this, do this, do this, and you've saved millions of hours and stuff. Like, I can't do that yet. But I'm way better than when I first started, and I've put a lot of times in learning Vim. So I figured that using the Vim key bindings would be better. Whether or not that's actually true, I don't know. So there are two ways to load a theme. Both assume the theme is installed and available. You can either set Doom theme or manually load a theme with the load theme function. This is the default. If you use org and don't want all of your org files in the default location below, change org directory. It must be set before org load. So I don't even know if I won't be messing around with org mode tonight. I don't know. It sounds cool, but it sounds also complicated, so. So I won't get into that unless, I have time, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I will. Here are some additional functions and macros that could help you configure Doom. Load for loading external.el files relative to this one. Use package for configuring packages. After, I don't know what any of this stuff means. To get information about any of these functions macros, move your cursor over the highlighted symbol and press K. Okay, so let's just say I do that. K. Oh, it's going to be super K. No, that didn't work. Oh, yep, here we go. Oh, that's cool. Can you make this bigger? You can. Cool. I'm going to actually have to change the font so that it's actually bigger, because I know it's unreadable for you guys. It's definitely unreadable for me too, so I'll do that next. Load path, reset, add directories to load path relative to the current file. This current file is the file which add load path is used as a core lib.el. Okay, so that's cool. It's nice that there's, because I know Vim also has this help stuff that can show up in like a split, so it's kind of similar as well, which is good. So escape gets out of that. Now where can I change like the font size? It's not in this directory at all though. Well, maybe. So this here means that it's when there's a plus next to it, that means there's like a it will expand, right? Doom exposes 5 optional variables for controlling fonts in Doom. Here are the most important ones. Hey Zany man, how you doing? Let's see here. They all accept either the font spec font string or XLFD for font string. You generally only need these two. I don't know what any of that means. Set Q Doom font. Does that mean that happens here? Or does it mean... Is it in one of these here? Line 21. In the other file that I was in? And I was in config line 21. Here. That's a comment. Really? Like in a window manager, Peter? Uncomment 22 and 23 line. Okay. All right, good. Then we can change this. I love those Vim key bindings because I don't actually have to learn something new. That's good. Set Q mean change variable value. Okay. So it's kind of like set in Vim, right? Weight semi-light. I don't care about that. I don't think I need it, but I think it will work okay. Doom variable pitch font. I don't know if I need to change that, but we're gonna try. What? Now, a way to get that to take effect, you have to rebuild. Doom Emacs is. Did I know that right? If so, that's annoying AF. You can't, because you can't just close this and expect it to. Well, obviously something went wrong there, because it changed the color scheme completely. Okay. That's interesting. And now super period don't work at all. Doesn't work at all. Okay, I'm gonna stop listening to the chat because obviously either that I mistyped something. So let's see, Alt X. Unfortunately, I have Alt X bound to something different, so it's gonna have to be something different. Ironically, I have Alt X bound to Doom Emacs, which is hilarious. I suppose I could change that. That wouldn't be that hard. That was much easier in Vim. Okay, and I went back to the wrong one. All right. So you said. I don't know what any of these things mean, but I'm gonna find out. It does have some like. No, that's not what I want to do. At least Alt X now will work. What do these other things do? It's dot doom sync, right? Because you have to run it kind of like a script. Because if I could probably just look this up instead of actually, asking the chat, which would be. Oh, I use the key bindings. It works better. It seems like that Doom sync thing would be like towards the top of this documentation, but it is definitely not. You think you'd want the back up there where it says configuration? Oh, here we go. This will work. Let's see. Doom is an active project, blah, 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 blah. Doom upgrade. Xyz occasionally do update. Okay, so we really can just use Doom. You have to be in that folder, though. Okay. Doom sync. Yeah, that didn't work. It shows it working, but that doesn't actually work. All right, if you guys are going to give me like instructions in the chat, assume that I'm a complete Emacs noob because I are one. I'm assuming there's something. Let's see. Probably something that I messed up here. No, I don't need to do alongside other configurations. Install Doom manually. So we don't have to write every time. Oh, that would work. See if that works anyways. No, Doom Sync's not there. Unix Sync. Doom Help Info Retab Escape Reload. Reload your private config. Restart Emacs Sandbox Upgrade. Let's see here. Nope. I'm seeing literally everything but sync here. Not that I think it matters. I think probably could just do the upgrade maybe. I don't know. I know you probably can't see this. All right. Well, we're just gonna try reload. Okay. It's still changed the theme for whatever reason. The /bin. Okay. I don't have a .emacs/bin in the Doom one. cd.emacs.d ls cd bin ls. So Doom. Oh, here we go. Sync. Okay, that's really weird that you ended. Again, didn't work though. It did turn green that time though. Command. I should stick with the vanilla one. I think they're both going to be equally hard for me, Peter. Oh man. Okay. That did work. Thank you. Because it's just a script, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and do 4, and then we'll quit that and do Doom or Emacs. Yeah. Font not available. This probably means I misspelled the font, okay? So let's... Cause it completely broke that configuration file. So let's... .doom ls vim into config.el, and we'll go down here and just... Because I bet you the easiest way for me to get the name of that font is to do this. It's all one word. Okay. Okay. See, I misspelled the Here we go. That might work. is where all Emacs stuff is stored. The .doom is just for your personal Doom files. Okay. See, I didn't know that. I know nothing. That's usually the way things go. All right. Anyways, so cd dot let's see dot emacs dot d bin dot slash doom sync. Okay. I think I got that now. So we can, oops, I closed Qt browser. Doesn't matter. We'll just use Firefox because that's way better. Yes. Okay. And also, all right, all-knowing chat, explain to me why Doom Emacs opens up as a floating window. I do not have it. I don't have a rule for Doom Emacs to be floating. I don't. My rules are for GIMP, Firefox, Audacity, and then a whole bunch of scratch pads. So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it's not as if I'm in like that layout in this particular tag. Like I'm in the tiling mode here. So why it would go through and don't worry, Chris. I will go back to Vim. I'm sure that this is not going to stick. Now I might be speaking too early because you never know. It might I might get used to this. But not if I don't understand why it keeps opening up as a floating mode. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can resize it, but it's still stupid. So it does the same thing in BSPWM. If I didn't have to end the stream to change workspaces, I would go through and change window managers. I would just go through and log into another window manager and see if it did the same thing. Because I also have Xmonad, Awesome, Qtile, Herb Slough all installed right now. I just opened up as Emacs. So that's as far as I know. That's all I can do. Are you talking about like into the terminal? No, that's not. That can't be what you're talking about. If you open up in the terminal, it also does the floating thing, which is also is still just remarkably dumb. Okay, well, you want to cd into .config and then Emacs client config.def.h. So this opens it up in the terminal. And that doesn't make it float. It also keeps the properties of the terminal, which is cool. So that's probably the way I'd use it, is in the terminal. Well, CS would have Peter. The CS is for a the class name. So if you do xprop and click on this thing here, the class name for that CS is an Alacrity specific thing. But I could delete it and it would still do it because I don't actually have anything with the class CS on here. If I go back to 4 here and do xprop, which I'll have to move this out of the way in order to actually do because it's floating again. I don't. All right, hold on a second. In DWM to force things back into tiling, in mine I have mod T, which, so if I do mod shift M, that doesn't actually change it. And then mod T, no. So if I just, the xprop of this is Emacs. So so the class name has nothing to do with that CS. So you lose half the functions if you use it in the terminal? Why? Then if that's true, then why does it even exist? That'd be my question. All right, we'll resize this because whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. I'm gonna quit this. All right. So the next task is going to be getting rid of this. Don't leave yet. There's a demon around that corner. Quit, yes or no. I want to get rid of that. That's the next thing. Okay. So if I do Emacs again, dumbass. That's dumb. That's dumb. Nobody in a window manager ever uses floating mode unless it's for like a scratch pad or a window that's not meant to be like full screen. So let's see here. So let's do space period dot doom dot d slash config dot l. Okay. Also, that pause between hitting enter and it actually opening the file is annoying AF. That's really slow. Like in Vim, if I open up config.dev.h here, it's instantaneous. But in here, if I open up init.el, well, that was much more instantaneous than that last time. It's really weird. It does for you, huh, Joshua? It has to, because see, the thing is it did, when I first installed Doom Emacs, it did open up just like a normal window, like in the tiling mode. For whatever reason, something changed along the line. And the thing is, I haven't changed my DWM config in ages. So I don't know. So this is the init.l. I'm assuming this is for like packages and plugins and stuff. I don't need to get into that quite yet. All right, so this displays the line numbers. So if I wanted to change it so it didn't ask me if I was sure I wanted to quit, how do I change that? I guess I'm going to have to Google it. All right, let's see here. How to keep Doom Emacs from asking you if you're sure you want to quit. That's the wordiest Google search ever. Exit prompt. Okay. Okay. Oops. I'm back in Firefox, and now the scrolling looks. That's how things are supposed to scroll. Let's see here. I expect to just quit Emacs. Just kill directly. What happened? Emacs has asked me if in mini buffer really exit Emacs. The relevant part of my This is a bug, so it's not going to be very helpful. I mean, this is directly from the developer, so. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and try it. What's it going to hurt anything? That's what you always want to hear. Okay, so can this go like anywhere, I'm guessing? Okay. All right, great and almighty chat. What's paste in Doom Emacs? Why isn't paste like the regular thing? Like, can you? Oh, there we go. It's just P. All right, that works. That's a little weird. I mean, because in Vim, to paste something from outside of the thing, you just use the terminal-based paste, but not so much here. Okay. Okay, so we'll write and quit this. Okay. Next time in here, I'm just going to toast you. Yes. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Okay. Okay. Also, the whole making a change, having to sync that thing every time you make a change is kind of annoying. Alright. But the most annoying thing I've discovered so far is that fucking the floating thing. Okay, so if I want to quit this... Yes, okay, so that worked. That was good. We've made some success in actually doing something. And now I'm going to have to resize the damn thing again. Oops, that was the wrong one. There we go. Alright. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. When I first thought about Emacs, before I got into the whole keychords thing, so before I even knew keychords really existed, I was weirded out by the whole the idea that you have to press one key in order to get, and then a couple more keys in order to do a key binding. Because like, that seems woefully inefficient, but once I got my head around the keychords thing, I kind of really like it, so that doesn't scare me away nearly as much as before. Like, full screen is great, but I don't want it to be full screen. I just want it to follow my rules. Alright, Brandon, what is eval buffer? I don't know what that means. Doom should have a way to do that. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but it's there. Okay. So we've managed to change the font, which is good. And we've managed to make it so that it doesn't ask you if you want to quit every time you quit, because that's annoying. I suppose I could go up here and some functionality uses this to identify you. I'm going to remain John Doe because you don't need my name. You spyware. Space HRR. What will that do, though? To go... Oh, that is Doom Sync. Cool. It's a lot of key bindings, but it's way better than having to go to a terminal and cd into the proper directory. That's good. All right, I'll have to remember that. I'm going to write that down, actually, on, like, actual paper. Okay. Space HRR. All right, cool. Where were you guys, like, 10 minutes ago? I could have used that 10 minutes ago. Okay. It's all right. What is this? Oh, because that's for the bug, right? Okay. All right. Alt-X will start a command prompt where you can type commands, plugins, things that you want to start in Emacs. Eval buffer is a command. Like, yeah, I can. What does the command do? Like, rmdef rf, slash is a command, but unless you know what it does, you don't want to run it. So Alt-X is like command mode. So in other words, I won't be setting anything to Alt-X in SXHKD anytime soon if I'm going to stay with this. So these are all the commands. Play 5x5. Is that like a game or something? I don't know. I'm definitely going to, once I'm done with this, I will watch DT's videos. I didn't want to watch them beforehand because I wanted to go into this blind, and I'm paying for that now by not knowing what I'm doing. So show the current working directory, which is pwd. All right, I understand that part. Okay. Oh, these are all just regular, like, commands. So eval buffer will run everything in the buffer. Buffer is a window. Like, I know what buffer is, but I don't know what the eval part was. Keep in mind that Emacs is an eLisp interpreter. Like, I knew that. I don't. Joshua, I'm pretty sure, from what I hear, Emacs has built-in everything. I think that's kind of the knock against it. It's definitely not the. I mean, they say that Emacs is the best at being a Unix philosophy, thing, because all it does is interpret Lisp, right? But that, I mean, that is, I suppose, technically true, but it also has a ton of stuff that it does, you know. Oh, okay, that makes sense. The um colon sh in Vim, yeah. Okay, that's cool. So I could, okay, let's see here. So Alt X, and then I could do. But we already know that you can't run Doom sync from just any old directory. It has to be from that other directory, emacs.d or whatever it is, /bin. See, I couldn't just do Doom sync from here. That's why it doesn't show up. So, I mean, Pong. That's that one, like the ball goes back and forth from like the Magnavox or whatever from back in the 80s or 70s, maybe. In a long time. That was before my time, I think. Why does YouTube insist on emailing me and letting me know that I'm live? Like, I realize that I'm live. Alright. Alt X Doom /sync. No, that didn't work. To run Doom sync from anywhere, add .emacs/bin to your path. Okay, I can do that. I think. Or just alias. Oh, that's, yeah. Alias should probably work better. I don't usually mess around with the path. Mostly because I use ZSH, so I always have to do it. And I also don't know that I've ever added a single folder to the path. Except, no, that's not true. I did that once when I was trying to change the path from, or where I was storing all my scripts, because you're not supposed, I don't think it matters, but I always have read that you don't usually put your scripts in like /user/local/bin. You're supposed to put them in like your own personal path or whatever, so that they're separate. So I tried to change that because I was trying to get like DAW blocks or something to read the scripts that I was using, and I couldn't do it for whatever reason. I don't know. Is that true? Because we're gonna find out. Okay, what are the key bindings for Tetris? Okay, so K and here we go. I'm horrible at Tetris. This is and I had to build that line there in order to get rid of that blank space. Oh, this is This is just prime YouTube right here, fellas. It's so good. I don't know why I said fellas there. It doesn't. I'm horrible at Tetris. All right, now how do I get out of this? I'm so bad at Tetris. Okay. So when you open up something like that, so if I do space period again and go to like init.el, does that, like, in Vim, when you open up something like that, if you have like tabs enabled or whatever, it opens up in a new buffer. Does that do the same thing here in, or is it just, so do I have two buffers open? You'll have to forgive my dog. She's barking. She likes to chase a little red dot around. I'm pretty sure she's a cat. Okay, so what we need here now is to find out what to do next. Because we've done some of the things that, two things, I guess. Now we just need to figure out what to do next. So, documentations. Doom Emacs. Documentation. Getting started, frequently asked questions, contributing, module appendix. Because really, in its current state right here, this is just, it's a cool looking version of Vim, right? If I were just going to use it like this, why would I use it? Because, yes, it has a whole bunch of extra functionality, but I'm only ever going to use it for the Vim functionality. So, I'm going to, if I were going to switch to this, I'd need another reason why I'd want to, switch to it. So there has to be some other functionality that would add to add something to my life other than what Vim already gives me. All right, Chris, what do you want? Add to list, initial frame A list, full screen maximize. Where do I put that? In the configuration file? Is that to do the... You'll need to use it for org mode. It'll make sense when you find org. If you only want to edit files with Vim key bindings, then it's not worth the time, of course, yeah. I was trying to figure out if there was something extra, because, everybody goes on and on about, oh, Emacs this, Emacs that. Okay. I'm going to actually have to... Alright, well, we'll try. Okay. And then we said that was, I wrote that down, space HRR. Okay. So, and then we're going to quit this, and we'll restart it up and see if that worked. Negatory. That still worked. That's still in floating mode. Honestly, that's right there would make me not use this at all, because that's, I don't want to have to change. I already have to do that with Audacity. But I have to have Audacity to float, because if you don't have Audacity in floating mode by default in DWM, some of the sliders in DW or Audacity won't work. So yeah, I don't know what I want to do either, Peter. That was the point of doing, this. I wanted to look into it. I'm sure there are other things I could do. I want... Okay, so here are the things I want to try eventually. I want to try the Emacs, or the email client. I don't know if I'd do that on camera, because actually you'd have to type in, like, email addresses and shit. And All right, here's the thing. Uh, proselytize or evangelize Emacs. What makes Emacs superior to Vim? What can I do with Emacs that I can't do in Vim other than play Tetris? Because that gives me no value. So those of you who use Emacs, come on, show me what's good about Emacs. I'm curious. Something that I can try, because I'd love to try it. Also, YouTube, yes, I know I already know that I'm live. You don't have to tell me 3 times that I'm live. I'm assuming they do that because they want to make sure somebody else isn't going live on your channel. But, I mean, it's still weird. You can write config files in org mode. Okay. Is org mode in Emacs can be evaluate code within a document and output within document. So, okay. I did see that when I had the it does do this warning thing, which is cool. The syntax checker. That's something that you'd have to actually have a plugin in Vim for, in order to do. Okay. Yeah. You can have awesome Lisp that Vim is not an awesome thing. Slime is cool too. What? All right, Brandon. What is slime? Okay. Vim or not Vim. Emacs org mode. Getting started. All right. Org mode base beginning at the basics. Okay, let's see here. Org mode, as it says in the official web page, is for keeping notes, maintaining to-do lists, doing project planning. See, now that all sounds really cool. The following is a simple tutorial to help you get started with using Emacs in org mode. Now, is there a difference between org mode in Doom and regular Emacs? Because if I follow this tutorial, am I going to be frustrated halfway through because Doom does something different than regular Emacs? Also, how the hell have I been streaming for 47 minutes already? That's crazy sauce. Slime is a plugin, I think, that allows you to evaluate code for different programming languages. All right, that would probably be useless for me because I'm not a coder at all. The only time I work with code is in configuration files. I do want to start learning to code, so it's a new world. I'm gonna start singing the Aladdin songs. Prepared. I mean, you said a whole new world. Also, I can't sing with the damn, so I drive everyone off from the stream if I started singing. So I probably better not do that. So it just has the ELA bindings, but the default GNU bindings will work too. So you can read that. Cool. All right, well, let's do that. The absolute minimum you need to know about Emacs to be able to do anything is more than you need to know about many other applications. So that's challenging, okay? But you might compare it to a regular toy and Lego. Lego is harder to be. Okay, okay. I'm so confused. I think I know what this person is trying to say, but you might compare it to a regular toy and Lego. Emacs is heavy on shortcuts. Period. Okay. All right, we're gonna find something different. Uh, it's okay, but org tutorial. Here we go. Org mode is a personal information management and outlining tool for Emacs. This document is intended to give the reader a feel for org mode and to teach basic usage with step-by-step instructions and plentiful screenshots. It is not intended to replace the manual, as only a subset of org mode's features are covered. Now see, that I understood. This tutorial has been translated into, oh that's cool, special thanks to the translators. Obtaining org mode. Org mode is part of Emacs 22 and 23, so if you have a modern version of Emacs, you have it already. Okay? Activating. Add the following to your .emacs. So, I don't think I actually have to do that because I'm in Doom, right? Alright, let's close this. Alright, what would be cool with Emacs is if when I went through and closed this buffer, if it went back to the start screen, like okay, good. That's good to know. Because right now, if I close this, it closes Emacs. Is there a setting to have it go back to the start page? Does anybody know that? Because that'd be cool. Because then I don't have to do this. Over and over again. Every time I wanted to do this. Alright. Also, I'm assuming there's a way to open up. So space OA. Okay. Press any key for an agenda command. Match tags to do. Agenda for current work or weekday. So this is like the to-do thing. Type space B and look at the possible completions of keywords. Space B. Q is undefined. Space WQ. That just closes. I'm assuming that's because I was at the, okay, so let's try it again. Okay, so what did you say it was? It was space WQ. Yeah, it just quits it. Use iBuffer. I'm getting sick of reopening this. I'm gonna assign it a key binding in about 40 seconds. Okay. That's space BD. Space BD. Oh, good. Awesome. I'm gonna write that down too. That's the second one. Space BD goes back to start. Okay, good. Learning stuff. You can look every key binding in Doom. Just start typing. For example, type space and look at the possible bindings. Okay, so this kind of, I have that or had that in NeoVim as well at one point. So resume last search for symbol and project, switch workspace buffer. Okay, so let's hold on a second. Let's escape this. So let's open up something else. So yeah, like this. Okay, so space. Okay, so it doesn't list that beginning page as a buffer, or at least not here. Which key in Vim is it to port from which key in Emacs? I don't know. I don't. Which key was part of that Lunar Vim thing that I was trying out, but I didn't stay with it for very long. Alt X iBuffer space BI. Okay. So I'm assuming that's just like okay. So space BI. Space BI. Okay. Space BI. Okay. That's a lot of key presses to change buffers, but that's okay. Alright. Alright, go back to here. Alright, so we don't have to do this to activate. You said we already did that. So this section illustrates basic org mode usage by showing how I use org mode to create this document. Create a new file. If you configured your Emacs installation file as suggested above, Emacs should enter org mode whenever you visit or create a new file with the extension .org. So I wonder if that does that. So if we open, so Alt X should do this and do touch. We don't want it to do it from there. We want it to do Alt X touch // documents media documents. I don't even know if this will work or not. We will see. File.org. No, that doesn't actually work. You can actually use touch from anywhere. Okay. Space period in Doom to open the... Okay. Then type a name with .org extension to create the new file. Okay, that's cool. Okay. Okay. So we're there. That works. See, I'm learning. This is literally how I learn everything, by complete and utter failure. Okay. So, wait, you don't have to, like, put anything at the top of it that says it's an org thing. It just knows that it's an org thing by the extension? Okay. There's way too many things too many ways of doing things. I need to learn one way before I learn 5 other ways. The locate it in a file manager and then just type it in makes sense to me, because that's the way you do it in some other cases as well, or way you can do it. So you can just go through and do also. There we go. All right. I don't like how in it doesn't show that you're in. Oh, it does. It has the colors down here. Okay. All right. In my version of Vim, it says insert at the bottom all the time, so it doesn't go. That part doesn't go away, but that's okay. This is a list. Oh. This is also part of the list. this too. Okay, cool. All right, now how do you do the fancy, like, we'll just keep going with, first I created a headline called tasks. That's not Markdown though, is it? Because Markdown does the whole, like, pound thing. This is a headline, right? So that's not actually how you do a headline here in org mode. In order to do the headline, you have to do this. Okay, every file that ends with .org will be an org file in Emacs. Okay, good to know. Any file that you run MX org mode. Okay. Start file with a asterisk. Okay. Markdown is different, a whole other mode. Well, I mean, I was just following somebody in the chat to start with Markdown, so I decided to go do Markdown. So like this is a list, right? But that's not actually a list in org mode. So we'll get rid of that. So those are actually, that's a headline. This isn't necessary, but it's called often convenient, especially when you want to keep tasks separate from the body of the document you're writing. First level headlines begin with 1 star followed by a space. Second level headlines, yeah, that's not Markdown at all. I mean, I don't know everything about Markdown, like not even a little bit, but so this is a second level headline. This is a first level headline. Cool. Okay. That explains why when you hit enter, it doesn't do another star. Because when you have an asterisk in Markdown, a lot of the Markdown editors at least, it'll just assume you want to keep making lists. Okay. All right. In org mode, to-do items are always headlines. I entered a to-do item for start new org file tutorial. This is a bit silly because we've already started a new file. So let's mark the to-do item done by moving the cursor to that line and hitting, which runs the command org to do. Okay. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we'll see. When you want to enter a new item in the same page, press Control Return. Okay. It's very hard to help in any way because of the lag. So there's lagging on the stream, Peter? Is that what's going on? It says that I have an excellent connection. And as we all know, Google and YouTube will always tell the truth. And nothing but the truth. I'm just floating around. But if there's a horrible delay, I don't know what I could do to stop that, actually. Because like I said, it says I have an excellent connection. I'm streaming at the proper bit rate. Which runs the command org to do. Here's the result. Yeah, that's not what I seen, but okay. Oh, you mean the delay in the chat? Yeah, I could go through it, I suppose, and yeah, I can't change the latency once the stream starts. Next time I'll try the ultra low latency. I have it set in the middle. So in the studio backend or whatever, you get three options: normal, low, and ultra. I figured the medium would be the best, but I'll try the ultra low latency next time. Like I said, I can't change that now without stopping the stream and coming back, I suppose. But no, I don't want to do that. Mostly because I'm almost done. I've been going for an hour and 12 minutes, and like I said at the beginning, I'm not feeling all that great. I got a sore throat, so actually talking all this much has been kind of a pain in the ass. And I still need to do Tuesday's video tonight, so that's gonna be fun. Hold on, why don't you? That's what I think of that. I would start with basics, find out what is a package, how and where to configure it. Yeah, like I said, Peter, I'm just floating around. I'm not doing this in a specific order. It doesn't matter to me. After this, I'm going to go through, like I said, and watch some of the videos and stuff. And then I'll be a little bit more proficient on it. Whether or not I stick around with... Whether or not I stick around with Emacs or not, I don't know yet. Maybe. Like I said, there's going to have to be a... I could see myself getting attached to org mode, though. Because some of the stuff that it says it can do... Some of the stuff it says it can do, you know, it sounds really interesting. So that's definitely something I'm going to be playing around with quite a bit. I'm going to go through this tutorial, but not all on stream. I'm like I said, I'm pretty much done. But if org mode proves to be good, I could see myself leaving Emacs installed for that purpose. Whether or not it would move me away from Vim, because most of the stuff I use Vim for, and NeoVim in my case, is just editing files. I use it as a text editor. I don't need anything else. Like, I'm gonna take a look at the email client, but it's not gonna drive me away from NeoMut. I'm gonna continue to use NeoMut because it works for me and I'm used to it. Like, it has my workflow in it. I'm not gonna go through and change it. Just there'd be no reason for me to do so. So, because I'm gonna look at it, org mode is probably gonna be the only thing that's going to be something that I go through and it could possibly change my mind on Emacs. Because it's something that sounds like something that could really add value. To what I do. Like, I go through and, like somebody said in the chat, I could go through and do the whole configuration files in org mode like DT did. That could add value. But yeah, like I said, I will know more once I watch some of the videos on it, because I'm assuming I'm missing some of the cool things that it does, because there's gonna be other things that it does that I just don't know about. It'll be something that I'll have to go through and you know, experience. First experience tonight was I'm gonna have to figure out why it starts in floating mode. Because if it keeps starting in as a floating window and I can't figure out how to change that, you know what? I could set a rule for Emacs to make it not floating. Because in DWM you can go through and change. I mean, usually you just set, because not floating is the default, right? So you wouldn't actually have to set a rule for not floating. But you can. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just usually useless. Yeah, Joshua, it seems, I know it does, but that doesn't. I'm. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Coming down with a cold. And the reason why I'm coming down with a cold is because it's been in the last 3 weeks here in Michigan. It's been in temperature from 20 degrees during like the night, like in 30 or 40 during the day, and then today it's 95, and it keeps fluctuating back and forth. So Yeah, that's the reason why I'm coming down with a cold. It's ridiculous. Let's see here. I also thought that it would only need text editing, but it's so convenient to do all those things in one environment with one set of bindings. Uh, yeah, you never. I mean, it's possible that I go through and just if I can find that one thing that I really like Emacs for, it's possible that it could take over for NVim. I don't. It like I said, it would have to. I'd have to fall in love with something first. Something that, like I said, changes the way I do things. That'd be nice. Um, like I said, sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna start to learn some coding. I've wanted to learn how to code for a long time, and I think I've chosen Python as my first language. I know that's probably not going to be happy for some people, but I don't care. I just wanted to choose something, and I was depending on what you read online. The beginning language you choose doesn't really matter, just as long as you choose one. Now I know a little bit of C. I learned some C in college. My first semester in college, I was a computer science major. I realized I didn't want to be a computer science major after that, so I don't know a lot of C. Most of the C that I've learned now is from uh, the DWM stuff. Yeah, I don't. All right. And the to-do stuff in the org mode probably will never drive me away from Todoist because I need to have my to-do list on my phone. So I need to actually be able to sync that kind of stuff. Elisp is probably going to be. I don't know if I would consider that my coding language, but I'm definitely going to be learning more about it probably. I've gone back and forth over what first language I was going to choose. I so I know some HTML and CSS, but I don't consider those coding languages towards what I wanted to do. I thought about like JavaScript or something like that, or like one of those languages that kind of go along with the whole web development kind of stuff. And I know Python does a little bit of that stuff as well, but I wanted to choose something that was more for native app development. There are Emacs org apps for mobile. Really? Um, if I end up getting into org mode, I'll definitely be looking at those. Yeah, that's what I was reading online, Josh, was that there's no wrong choice. That's why I kind of chose with Python because there are a ton of free courses for Python. I'm assuming there's tons of free courses and stuff for other languages too, but Python's so popular, there's just a ton of them. And I didn't want to have to go through and pay for something that I don't know if I'm going to go through and through. If I go through a whole course and learn some stuff, then I don't mind paying for a course because then I'm a little bit more invested. Um, but I don't want to go gung ho into eh, eh, go to like Code Academy or whatever, and pay for a course, uh, and then realize, oh, I hate Python. I don't want to learn Python. That'd be a waste of money. So I've chose one that had a lot of free stuff, free courses like on YouTube and stuff. Uh, so uh, be that should be in the next couple weeks. I keep putting it off because there's other things that going on in my life right now, and I want to give it the proper attention that it deserves. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be. Whether now see, I don't think I'll be making any videos about my coding journey because that's not really what the channel is about. Maybe I will. I could be persuaded if people wanted to watch some of that stuff, but the usual stuff I do in terms of like I don't want to put those videos out there and proclaim how to learn Python. I mean, first of all, I'd never use that as a title because I don't do. Some of my videos have how to's. When you'll know when I know how to do something, I'll use how to. Otherwise, I just use vague things because most of the times my tutorials or whatever are just, hey, I'm learning how to do this. I'm gonna show you how I do this so you can learn along with me or something. It's dumb. Why anybody watches those videos, I don't know, but people do. So yeah, I th I thought about Rust, but there's not a ton of like free Rust tutorials out there that are like highly rated. There's a couple of them, but not nearly as many Python. But remember, Python's been around for a lot longer than Rust. Yeah, that's exactly what this video has been, Peters. How not to start with Emacs. Exactly. Okay. Haskell as a first language? No. My experience with Haskell is not a good one. I don't know that even if I decided, screw this, I'm gonna become a programmer by trade, which is not gonna happen. I don't know that I would ever touch Haskell outside of Xmonad. It's just not a good thing. Although, I've been playing around with Awesome Window Manager, and Lua is kind of fun. I've been thinking about Lua quite a lot, and it you know, I know that a lot of the um, NeoVim stuff is getting transferred over to Lua because now it supports Lua natively or whatever. Um, so Lua was one of the choices that I thought about. Um, there's an amazing GitHub repo that helps new programmers. You got a link for that, Rumpus? Because I'd love to see that. I could probably Google it. There's actually a few of them, so I don't know which one you're going to be talking about. Learning Rust basics, installation, hello world, cargo, crates. Okay. My first experience with Lua in Awesome Window Manager was bad too. It took me a good solid week before I was like, oh yeah, I kind of understand some of this stuff. Now obviously I'm not gonna claim that I'm like expert Lua developer, whatever. That'd be dumb. Again, itchiest nose ever. But after like 2 weeks or a week or so, it definitely started making a little bit more sense. It definitely made more sense to me in my head than X or Haskell ever did. Like I was using Xmonad for a long, like 2 weeks after I finally got a little bit, understood it a little bit. And even now, there's still a lot in Haskell. I have no clue what the hell it's doing. Like, no clue. I don't understand. Like, I understand the importing and stuff like that. That's fairly common in a lot of programming languages. But some of the syntax is just still really weird. And it's not. And look at the Haskell documentation. Everyone goes on about the Haskell documentation. It's extensive. It's just not written for noobs. It's just not. Uh, So is that something you guys would want to see videos of of programming, like noob programming videos? Is that something anybody would want to see? I guess I don't think I'd want to make those videos. I don't know. It's definitely something I'd have to think about. Unfortunately, I am a noob, Brandon. Like I'm a noob in everything. Like you'd think after 4 years of using Linux full time that I would know a lot more about Linux than I do. But I watch some of the other Linux YouTubers, the guys who do like Bash scripting and get into serious like kernel development and kernel compiling and use Gentoo and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I look at them like you guys are my heroes because I don't understand half of what you do. Like learn Linux. You guys should definitely check him out. He does all this Bash stuff and he's fixed a couple of my bash scripts and stuff like because I'm a noob again. So uh some of his stuff he does like I don't understand. Like what are you doing? I don't understand. I don't know any of that stuff. And he like you'd think I would after 4 years I would know more, but I don't. I'm always learning and That's mostly what my channel is about, is me always learning stuff. So I'm right there with you, Brandon. I don't know any of that stuff. I mean, I know a little bit of sed. Like I can use like a little bit of sed. And awk apparently is something that you don't want to learn as a noob. I've been told that a couple times, is that you don't want to focus on awk until you learn other things. So I've stayed away from awk at least a little bit. I've used it like once or twice. I do need more topics for streams because I'm running out. Doing a stream every week has kind of taken away the ideas I have for streams. So maybe looking into some of the programming stuff. Maybe I could do programming stuff on the streams and just leave it for the streams and stuff. But I wouldn't want to do that every single week. It's not necessarily, Peter. I'm not necessarily comparing myself. I'm just like I'm not going to compare myself. It's more like every time I see him do stuff, I get a little bit intimidated over how much I don't know, because there's so much, like, especially like I want to do a lot of more stuff in Bash. So like I'm going to be learning more stuff in Bash. It's kind of like be alongside of whatever programming language I choose to whatever. Because there's some Bash scripts that I have ideas for. But I watch his videos, like I don't. There's so much there that I don't understand. Like I don't. He uses Bash with some like shorthand stuff that I just don't understand. Like, and it's the proper way of doing stuff, but it blows my mind. Emacs from scratch is great for streaming. I don't know if I've proven that I'm not good at doing Emacs streams. I don't know if this will be the first or the last time you see Emacs on my video or a stream. We'll see. I'm gonna mess around with it for the next week. I usually give stuff at least a week. If it hasn't got any clause into me at all, then I just delete it. If I've at least used it some and am having fun learning about it, then I'll stick with it. I'm gonna do both, Peter. I'm gonna do both because Bash is something I want to do, but I also want to do Python. I want to kind of do both. Switch to it full time. Switch to Emacs full time. Maybe. I'd have to go through and reconfigure some key bindings so that when I launch, because launching into Vim in like a terminal is so like muscle memory right now. Everything I've done in Bash has been fun, but I do it wrong. That's like the story of my life. I have fun doing the stuff that I do in Bash, but it's definitely not done correctly. All right, everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. This stream has to come to an end. Everything has to come to an end eventually. Before I go, if you want to follow me on Twitter at LinuxCast, you can do so. You can also support me on Patreon at patreon.com/LinuxCast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Before I go, I'd like to take a moment to thank my current patrons: Devon, Marcus, Meglin, Donnie, Sven, East Coast Web, Merrick, Camp, and Mitchell. Thanks everybody for watching this wonderful stream where I did absolutely nothing. It's like the Seinfeld of streams. I'll see you next time. I am not installing Gen 2. Leave me alone with a Gen 2. I got like 4 people like, oh, install Gen 2. No. Every time somebody asks me to install Gen 2, I'm pushing it off another week. That's definitely happening. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.